The 60th anniversary of the March on Washington is Saturday, August 26th in Washington, D.C. And we here at Family Equality are thrilled to be a community partner of the event, along with conveners, Reverend Al Sharpton, founder and president of the National Action Network, Martin Luther King III, board chairman of the Drum Major Institute, and Andrea Waters King, chairman and president of the Drum Major Institute. Reverend Sharpton, thank you for being here today. I'm so thrilled to have you with me.
Well, thank you, Stacey, and I'm very honored and happy to be with you and happy that Family Equality has come on to work with Martin and Andrea and all of us on this day that is very necessary, and not only to remember what happened 60 years ago, but to continue the work of confronting inequality in our time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm thrilled that our Family Equality audience is actually getting a chance to see sort of this very bird's eye view of why the march is so important. And so what I wanted to talk to you about is that, can you kind of tell everyone why the March in Washington is so important, and why is it so important for us to all come together, especially right now?
I think the 4 planks that we've said with the march with all of our partners, including Family Equality and Anti-Defamation League and UNIDOS and the Asian American groups, is that we need to show in this time of such disharmony and such a real level of division in the country, that we come together around basic principles that we all agree. There's a rise in hate crimes against Blacks, against Jews, against Asians, against gays. We need to come together against hate crime and stand together. We may not agree on every issue, but we agree people should not be targeted because of who they are. Second, there's an erosion in voting rights. Many states are putting in impediments to make it more difficult to vote, and we need to stand together on that. Third, gun control. We need to deal with the fact that at least background checks ought to be there. We've seen mass killings in every community, and many of the victims of families will be there from mass killings. And lastly, the criminal justice system, where we have a fair and even criminal justice system for everyone. And it's important that we show that we can disagree on some issues, but not be disagreeable, and stand up and say, whether it is women's rights, whether it is rights for African Americans or Latinos, that we all must protect each other's rights, or otherwise nobody is there to protect our rights. And I think that we've been too tribal. We've all been in our own silo, rather than to try to have a mass gathering like this, where we stand together and say we're different, but our needs and our quest are the same.
Reverend Sharpton, I could not agree more. And I'm someone who believes that we also have been in our silos, and that if we do not all lock arms and come together, especially now, that we're not going to get any place. We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to move forward. And our fight as an LGBTQ plus person is your fight as an African American man, is a woman's fight in the repro justice movement. I feel like we're all fighting the same fight. And if we knew that, I think that we could be completely powerful against all of these forces who are trying to put all of us down.
And not only if we know it, but we need to show it. I remember, Stacey, when I ran for president in 2004, in the 2003 primaries, people were stunned that I, as a Baptist minister, said in one of the debates that I supported marriage equality at the time, which at that time was not acceptable. I don't even think then candidate for Senate Barack Obama had come out for marriage equality. And they challenged me on it. And I said, let me explain something to you. What are you talking about? They said, well, you're a civil rights leader, Black leader. Why are you getting into that? I said, I grew up, my sister, I had one sister that we had both the same mother and father. I had a stepsister and brother from my parents' other marriages. But the one sister, 3 years older than me, we grew up in the same house. Mm-hmm. She was gay since I was a kid, as long as I known her. She used to bring me to Greenwich Village. I knew her partners. And I said, she was gay and Black at the same time. You act like there's a difference. You act like Black folks are not gay. It's not a black issue and a gay issue or a issue of disabled. We all are complex because we all are in part the same thing. So let's quit segregating ourselves and fight for openness for everybody. And I remember what made me take the position on marriage equality, when a lot of the churches I preach at were adamantly against it, is my sister called me and she said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "What?" She says, "You running for president, they're gonna ask you about marriage equality." I said, "Yeah, I'm sure they will at first and second debate." She says, "What are you gonna say?" I said, "Well, everybody's got it right." She says, "No, what are you gonna say about marriage?" And I hemmed and hawed, Stacey, to be honest. She says, "So let me get this right. You know my partner?" I said, "Yeah." "And she's white?" I said, "Yeah, they live in Louisiana." She says, "And you have no problem with we live together?" I said, "No." She said, "But you're not sure about marriage?" I said, "Well, let me think it through." She said, "So let me get this right. It's all right if we shack up, but don't get married. And that's moral to you." And she hung up the phone. And that's when I got up the next debate and stood up. We all need to understand that we talking about our sisters and brothers. We talking about us. And that's what we want to show on the 26th of August, that we all are fighting to be free to be us. And we don't need each other's permission to be that.
Absolutely. I have to tell you, this will be the first time that Family Equality as an organization has participated in anything like this. And when I've mentioned it to people, they say, "Well, what are y'all marching for? This is about, your organization is about ensuring that LGBTQ plus people can create families and become parents. Why would you be marching this march?" And it's the same answer that you and I talked about, because this is all the same fight and we all deserve to be free. But for some reason, people tend to segment our fights. I feel that what you and your organization have done is really ensure that every marginalized community has been included, has been brought to the table in this march. And, is there anything else that you like to share in terms of like why you were so, I think, very specific around everyone that's being attacked in this country today? I feel like they have a seat at the table at National Action Network and specifically at the march.
I think that it is important that we not only say that rhetorically, but show that. And there's no better place and no better anniversary than to be at Lincoln Memorial, where Abraham Lincoln promised equality that none of us ever got fully, and stand on the grounds that Dr. King and others stood on 60 years ago and say 60 years later, the issues are still here and we unashamedly and unequivocally are standing together. 60 years ago, women didn't speak at the march. Now we have women co-chairing the marches like you. 60 years ago, Bayard Rustin was told to take a back seat because he was gay. We're going to honor Bayard Rustin at this march. We have to show that not only are we have grown and matured in what we stand for, we've grown and matured on who stands there on the steps of Lincoln Memorial, and not just applaud some of us that have a name, but stand up there and speak as part of our family. We are all together. And as proud as I will be to stand there with the chair of the Black Caucus, I'll be proud to stand there with Stacey Stevenson, because it's the same fight.
I am proud to stand there with you, Reverend Sharpton. I have goosebumps. And I have to tell you, I just have to say this because I promised my dad that I would say hello to you from him today, because I told him that I'd be speaking to you today. So I have to say that.
All right, well, tell him you said it. Tell him you said it, and that I say hello back to him, and he raised the champion. We're proud of him.
Thank you so much. So thank you for your time today, Reverend Sharpton. Is there anything else that you want to mention about?
No, I'm just looking forward to us doing it. And let the 26th be the beginning, not the end. We got to stay together. There's a lot of fights ahead.
Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone for watching. You can learn more about the event and the partner events Family Equality is hosting on Friday and Saturday on our website. We're having a family dinner on Friday. You can learn all about that at familyequality.org. And also, if you're interested in volunteering for the event, go to MOW60.org to learn more about the opportunities there. See you all at the march on August 26th. Thank you.